Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good mornings to everybody. So today, our lectures for week 4 is more for our topic is floor construction. Okay, so before we go through for the floor construction, we must to know about what is their introductions. So as we know, the purpose of the floor is to provide a level surface capable to supporting the occupant of the building, furniture, equipment, and sometimes internal partition. Alright, so that is the first purpose that you must to know about the floor plan. The second item, the second point about the introduction about the floor plan is to perform this function, and in additional others which may vary according to the situation of the floor in the building and nature of the building itself. The floor must satisfy the following requirement. First, adequate the strength and abilities. So we must to know, as we know, the superstructure, the criteria, they must strength and stability. So we must highlight for this point. The second, adequate the fire resistant. Third is a sound insulation, damp resistant, and thermal insulation. So that is an introduction for the floor construction. Okay, but we must consider the factor to be considered when we want to construct the floor. They have three types that you must know about the floor. First, the suspended floor construction, ground floor construction, and basement constructions. Okay, for the suspended floor construction and the ground floor construction, the method, the factor you to be considered is the method of the support, type of main foundation, bearing capacity of the ground, easy to waterproof, availability, alternative support, hard core or fill, sound insulation, thermal insulation, fire resistant, and superimposed load. For the basement, the factor that we must to consider is the excavation cost, need to retaining wall, need for the wall waterproofing, type of the floor waterproofing, additional fire precaution requirement, availability of the services or including of the system of drainage. So that is the factor to be considered for the floor construction. Floor supported system. So they have 5 floor supported system. First is the type of cantilever, 2 ways opposite support, 3 ways support, 2 ways adjacent support, and 4 ways support. So if you're looking for these pictures, that is a type of the supported floor system. So we go through for the material for the construction. They have cement concrete, lime concrete, stones, brick, and wooden block. Okay, this is a slab. This is the keratan rentas for the floor slab. Okay, so the first slab, they have the wire mesh, and then they have sand. Polythene is a damp proof course, and then compacted subcore. Concrete slab. Concrete slab are the floor system of the concrete and steel reinforcing. They are constructed on the ground. Various types of the slab available. We go to the next step. There are several types of concrete slab construction. First, stiffener rough slab, slab on the ground, footing slab, waffle rough slab, and infill slab. So we go through one by one. Okay, for the slab on the ground, concrete floor support on the ground and incorporation integrated H-beam. So the surface, the permukaan atas adalah concrete floor, the ground and the integrated H-beam. So we go to for second, stiffener rough slab. The concrete floor supported on the ground with a separate pour H-strip footings. So they have integrated H-beam and concrete floor. And number 3, footing slab. Concrete floor supported on the ground with the separate pour H-strip footings. So they have separate pour H-strip footings on the ground, and they have to finish it on the ground floor. And waffle rough slab. Stiffener rough with the closely spaced ribs constructed on the ground and with slab panels suspended between ribs. On the ground, they have the closely spaced rib and they have void formers. And the finishes is the concrete floor. So this is the draft berkaitan dengan lantai waffle ataupun waffle slab. This is a sketch and this one is the real after we cabut the formworks. So the view and looking for the waffle slab is like that. Okay, so infill slab. Slab cast on the ground between the wall and with no stiffening between. So they have strip footing on the ground and they have the wall and concrete floor. Okay, so we go through for the type of the slab. So they have the first is a monolithic slab. In the simple monolithic slab, the slab and the footing are the one of the same, with the footing at the perimeter of the slab and under any loads bearing walls being turned down a little deeper than the floor area. The footing portion of the slab may or may not be reinforced with the steel rebars depending on the soil condition of location code, and the footing is set up and poured at the same time as the slab. This is done by digging footing and forming the outside edge, typical with two lumbers held in place with the stack bracing until the concrete cures. And number 2 is the post tension or engineered slab. Another form is a monolithic slab in the post tension or the engineered slab. This slab has steel cable running through in the both of direction. Once a slab has cured, the cable are straightened and secured at each end so that the force is placed on the slab. This makes the slab tough and more crack resistant. We recommend that this type of the construction be designed, inspected and certified by the qualified engineer. That means your engineer or his representative should be insert the slab setup just prior of the actually pouring the concrete in the case of the post tension slab. He should also supervise that the process after the slab is poured. Engineered slab are more common in the area where active soil of the soil with very poor bearing capacity the present. So this is the post tension slab and they have cable or the tension on the tepinya. So after the cure ataupun kering, dia akan ditegangkan. Another type is the slab with the foundation wall. In this type of the slab, the edge of the slab is supported by the foundation wall. In the middle, it will rest directly on the ground. This foundation will be backfilled for a slab. The pier in the middle will support the slab. Notice the full cut header block at the top of the wall. They support perimeter support for the slab. Okay. In the most cast slab requires steel reinforcement and improve their ability to resist tensile stress, protection from the corrosion in the reinforcement in the achievement by the providing a minimum covering in the concrete. Cover for the reinforcement must be 40 mm from the unprotected ground, 40 mm from the external exposure, 30 mm from the membrane in the contact with the ground, and lastly is 20 mm to an internal surface. Service pipe. A sewer and a water are often required for the plumbing features that are not located directly adjacent to the external wall. This pipe must be run through under the slab. Stormwater pipe may also need to pass through the slab. These services pipe may be installed using the following technique. So penetrate through the beam, run under the beam, run under the slab, run through the slab. So we must consider first before we put the concrete on the floor. So we must to point the location for the service pipe and stormwater pipe. Okay, so this is an example. Slab plumbing. We the supply and waste line with a piece of the slab are put into place before the slab is poured by the concrete. The most important thing to check here is the location of all pipe which the plumber has installed. Precise positioning is important so that the pipe to the locate of the wall actually end of the wall and toilet and properly located. If a pipe ends up the wrong place after the slab has been poured in, the may have to be checked, hammered out and relocated. A time-consuming and expensive process. Copper water supply pipe will be under pressure when the water is turned on to prevent the change of lead in the inaccessibility place. There should be no soldered joint in the either is or under the slab. All the pipe passing through the slab should be protected with the rubber sleeve to minimize the abrasion and possible damage from natural vibration and movement. The plumbing inspector will check the installation before the slab is poured to make sure it meets the plumbing code. So before we put the concrete for the floor construction, we must consider about the placing the line of the plumbing, and the plumbing must be installed in the proper place and must be checked before we put the concrete. Okay, so this is another examples. Okay, and the finish. So the finish is the pour slab with the finish with the power trowel machine until it's smooth and flat. If the garage is poured at the same time, it should be sloped toward the door so the water will drain out. So the finishing, how to make the surface look like. Alright, so they use the machine through like this, through like the pictures, or we can use by manual by using the straight woods or ruler. Okay, so we go through for the precast concrete slab. So they have 5 types of the precast concrete slab. First is bison, traction, sigwood, transform, and rapid. So this is for the bison. Based on the kratan, say they have non-structural concrete topping 15 mm. They have reinforcement bar I-beam to support the bison or the precast floor, and they have the reinforcement bar and so on. So kita will go through for the second precast concrete for the floor instruction. So that is the keratan here, look like that. The same construction with bison, but they have different view. And stickwork is like that. And T-form, T-form, they look like a T-shape. The construction method is same. And the last is a rapid. So this is a rapid type, based on the shape. So we go through the 10 step to a building and reinforcement concrete slab on the ground. So this is a step that you must to follow in the construction. First, you must to plan how to place the concrete. Second, prepare the ground. 3, fix the edge of the farm. 4, install the services pipe. 5, lay concrete underlay. 6, fix steel reinforcement in the beam. 7, fix steel reinforcement in the slab. 8, place and compact the concrete. 9, finish the slab surface. And lastly is cure the concrete slab. So this is 10 steps you must to be follow on the site. Okay, so the first step, plan how to place the concrete. First, what you want to do is to make sure you signpost your site and give the clear direction for delivery. So this is your site and how to consider to put the concrete by rearrange the mixes of concrete to put the concrete for your site. And they use the tipper for the small scale, or you use the dumper, or you use the wheelbarrow. So they have you must consider about the machineries that you want to place the concrete to your site. Okay, so this is a pre-mixed concrete. Never add the water to the concrete on the site. Extra water will be make the slab weak, dusty and liable to the crack. So for example, when you site berada di atas, and there no access to the mixers to go to the surface, you must consider the concrete pump delivery on the limited access site. So they use the pump delivery because the situation of the site is the very yang membataskan your mixers ataupun lori concrete kamu access ke site kamu. So they must consider to additional the concrete pump to deliver the concrete to your site. Okay, number 2 is prepare the ground. So there is more for the coarse sand or gravel to fill and cut and fill to on your site. Number 3, fix the edge of the formwork. Double check the level, dimension and shape of the formwork area before any concrete is placed. So you must install first the formworks before you pour the concrete, and check the formwork, is it follow the drawing or not. Okay, number 4, install the services pipe, plumbing pipe, or so on, and then lay the concrete underlay. Number 5, lay of concrete underlay is a function is like look like a membrane course to waterproofing. And then number 6 is fix the reinforcement in the beam. Number 7, fix the reinforcement in the slab. Number 8, place the compact to the concrete. You put the concrete and use the vibrator until use the vibrator concrete until the bubbles stop rising to surface. Why we use the vibrators? To make sure the bubbles going outside the concrete and mengelak daripada berlakunya honeycomb. Honeycomb is the ruang-ruang udara ataupun bubble yang terperangkap dalam konkrit. After you open the surface of the formwork, dia nampak macam honeycomb, and when the honeycomb terlalu banyak, dia akan mengakibatkan your concrete not very strong, because they have many honeycomb ataupun lorong-lorong lubang yang boleh membuatkan kekuatan konkrit kamu tidak kuat. Dan the solution, if you find the honeycomb, so they have many or kata fix yang you must follow first. Sama ada kamu pecahkan balik ataupun kamu tampal, plaster balik. And then number 9, finish the slab surface using the manual or use the machinery like that. Then cure the concrete slab, curing compound. Don't compact. You can lose half of the strength if you don't compact, add water and don't cure. Cure is a curing. Curing ni maksudnya satu proses untuk mengurangkan tahap risiko kehilangan air secara mendadak. As we know, simen itu ataupun konkrit dia bancuan simen, dan simen ni dia punya kadar kehilangan air dia cepat sebab dia panas. And then so how we curing, so for curing, so first sometimes in construction they use dia sembur dengan air. Second, dia put the guni basah and the surface to make sure the kehilangan air di dalam konkrit tidak hilang secara cepat. Sekiranya kehilangan air terlalu banyak, terlalu cepat, dia akan mengakibatkan berlakunya crack di permukaan ataupun di dalam konkrit kamu, kerana dia mengecut dan panas. Okay, so selection of the floor material for the finishes. First, we must consider about the initial cost. The cost material should be in the conformity with the type of the building and its likely use. Second, appearance. Covering should be give present appearance that it should produce the desired colours, effort and architectural beauties. Another point is cleanness. The floor should be capable of being cleaned easily and should be not absorbent. And then durability. The flooring should have insufficient resistance to wear, temperature change, disintegration with time and decay, so that long life is obtained. Another is a damp resistant. Flooring should offer the resistance against dampness, so that healthy environment is obtained in the building. Sound insulation. The flooring should insulate the noise. Also, it should not be such that the noise is produced when users walk on it. And then thermal insulation. The flooring should offer reasonable good thermal insulation, so that the comfort is imparted to the resident of the building. Smoothness. The flooring material should be smooth and should have even surface and it should not be slippery. Fire resistant. This is more important for the upper floor. Flooring materials should offer sufficient fire resistance so that the fire barrier are obtained between different levels of the building. Another point, hardness. It should be sufficiently hard so as to have resistance to indentation marks, imprint likely to be caused by the shifting of the furniture equipment. And then maintenance. The flooring material should be require least maintenance. So that is the selection floor material for the finishes. Okay, so the end. Okay, that's all for our lectures for this weekend. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.